Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome into Guest Blade episode number 38. A little bit different than the previous Guest Blade episodes, where typically a collector will want to share a knife from their collection and send it to me, and I get a chance to share it with you. In this case, this was a knife that was specifically made for my live knives show that aired about 5 days ago. And the lucky recipient of this knife emailed me and said, hey, listen, I'm going to be out of town for about a week, or actually out of the country for about a week. I would love if you could do some photography and maybe do a guest blade on it during the time that I'm gone, and then ship it to me when I get back. So I'm so thankful that he did this. So to Charles, the owner of this amazing knife, thank you so very much. And I can't wait to hear his reactions when he receives it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we had some pretty kick-ass knives during that show, and thank you guys so much for making it the 100% sellout success that it was. But this was my #1 favorite knife from the entire night, and it had some really stiff competition. I mean, yeah, we had, a Brad Southard out there, we had a great Stout, we had some cool Olamic cutleries, we had some great Dave Curtis, I mean, Peter Carey's, so many amazing knives, but this was the one that really, really did it for me. Now, this is the Jesse Jarosz Model 75. So this is the smaller of the two models that he makes. Here is my personal knife, the Model 100. And you see it is a tremendous size difference. We go from a 3.2-inch blade to a just a teeny touch over a 4-inch blade here. And you'll see where that difference really comes to life when you get these open. Yeah, oh my God, it's like night and day. You could practically fit one inside of the other. And I've owned a Model 75 before. That was my first knife by Jesse. And even though I loved everything about the knife, it was just too small for me. So I'm really glad to have gotten my Model 100. But after playing with this, I got to tell you, I would have been so pleased to own this. Now, as I mentioned, you've got a 3.2-inch blade here. And this blade happens to be some really, really beautiful Chad Nichols stainless Damascus. So you're going to have all of the beauty of a Damascus blade and all of the, the unique pattern that comes out. You could own 10 Damascus bladed knives, even from the same maker and the same basic pattern, and they're all still going to be unique. But being a stainless variation, it requires a little bit less upkeep. It's still not a completely upkeep-free material, but really no steel is. Even a full-on stainless steel, you still should perform some maintenance just to keep it from pitting and rusting and corroding, especially if you're actually going to be using them. So, like I always say, I always use the Aegis EDCI solution. It works fine for every single knife I've got. So I think that, with very minimal care, this blade is going to last a lifetime. Some of the things Jesse is known for is a very, very smooth yet snappy action. He's got a great detent and just does a great system overall. But he's also known for extraordinarily sharp knives. So when you get one of his knives, whether it's a pretty knife like this, and it really is an ornate knife that has some beauty to it, or you get kind of a basic, maybe it's just a G10 in titanium, they're always going to be made for real-world, everyday use, not just to sit in a safe or sit in some kind of display cabinet and ogle. Now, the quality of work on this is sensational. Let's start here with the integration of the materials. So we go from the bolster to the carbon fiber, and there is no detectable seam. When you run your fingers across this, it is a smooth glass-like surface on both surfaces. Now, typically, you would feel the jump just because it's carbon fiber. But what he's done is done a very, very high polish. It's a very reflective carbon fiber up to the M3 bolsters. We'll talk about M3 here in a moment. All of the fitting, all of the finishing is done beautifully. Now, he may be a young maker. He may have only been on the scene for the past 3 to 4 years, but he's already learned. I mean, if you look at the first generation, the Model 75 that I owned was actually the second or third knife that he ever made, and the first knife that he'd ever actually sold. And there is a tremendous difference between that knife and the knife I have here in my hands. His fit and finish now is, I mean, really on par with guys that have been doing this for 30 years and charge 3 times the amount of money that he does. Now, it's not to say that the knives that Jesse makes are inexpensive. Now, if you want to get inexpensive, he makes some really great EDC and great user fixed blades. But in his 75s and 100s, you know, they do tend to get a little bit pricey, but you are truly getting your money's worth. You take a look at the extra care given on all the titanium. He takes all the time to fully, completely mirror polish the titanium liners. You have a beautiful split back spacer here that gives you room to slide a lanyard through and knot it out. But if you're the kind of person that doesn't ever like to use a lanyard, it's not detracting from the beauty of a knife by having a loop coming off the back or, you know, a hole drilled all the way through the frame. This is a great hideaway technique. A lot of people have done this, but we're not seeing it prevalent today. It's either lanyard hole or lanyard loop or nothing. And I really like having this option. So you see again all of that wonderful mirror polishing, great details throughout. Great jimping, feels really good. It's just enough to grab your finger and do what it needs to do without being overly abrasive. It's going to have a nice feel in the hand. Even though it is a smaller knife, you see I'm still able to get 4 fingers on there comfortably, and I wear a size large glove for your reference. His actions are fantastic. Flicks open with authority, and when you go and slowly open it, you feel that wonderful smoothness. Now let's take a nice close look at the entire knife. We'll start here with the Damascus blade. Great etching. I've seen most people that work with stainless Damascus tend not to get true rich black out of the pattern, and Jesse is somehow able to do it. We usually see light to dark gray or some shade of gray going through the pattern, and he's able to take stainless and get it to go full rich black, so very, very well done on that. You get the double thumb studs. They are prominent thumb studs, very easy to access. The M3 bolsters, they are smooth as glass. They feel beautiful. And what M3 is, and I'm going to bring my light over here just to give a little bit more emphasis on the beauty of that material. What M3 is, it's actually a composite material. You're going to get different types of metal in M3, but the main composition to it besides the metal is going to be prehistoric volcanic ash. So the lava that creates the ash is what you're actually getting inside of here. And that's going to give you a beautiful random pattern. Again, no 2 knives would be alike. I almost see, I don't know if this is going to be just too obscure of a reference, but I know I've seen artwork where you see, you know, drawings of basically naked people folded up in different positions. For some reason, I look at this bolster and I see that. And that's not because I'm obsessing about naked people. It's just, you know, it reminds me of that artwork when I look at this, whether from a distance or even really, really, really up close. I see a bunch of naked people in a fetal position. Or maybe that's just me. I have my own psychological issues that I won't bore you with. So then we go from that gorgeous M3 to the carbon fiber. You don't feel it here, or across the top surfaces. He's done a great job surfacing both of these materials and giving you a really clean radius where it's basically just one material. Beautiful polishing job on the carbon fiber. Very few people polish carbon fiber, and not everybody that does it this skillfully. We'll take a look at the lockup while we're on this end of the knife. I'm sorry, the blade centering, I mean. Nice and centered. And we will open it back up, show you the lockup. I've never really seen any of Jesse's work with super early lockup because he's really, really, really anal about having the strongest possible folding knife that he can make. and he spine waxed the living crap out of things. You've seen him do it on his YouTube channel. So he guarantees you that when he sends you a knife, you will never have to worry about lock failure. And I think just for his peace of mind, he does have them lock up a little bit later than many of today's makers. You know, it's so in fashion to have super early lockup. You know, in my opinion, as long as it's, you know, that lock is engaged, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care if it's 80% lockup or 20% lockup. As long as it's solid, I really don't care. There's a look at his beautiful bolster and the pivot. Now, the one thing I've never been a huge fan of, especially on the more ornate knives that he's done, is the bent titanium pocket clip. And that's what I actually received on my knife when I got it, and I made a custom request and sent it back to Jesse when he agreed to do it, and I had him make me a fully sculpted Damascus clip to go with my bolsters. Now, that's always an option when you're placing an order. Not that you really can, if you're not already on his books, ignore what I'm about to say, because it was people that are on there on a 3 to 5 year wait, and he's not opening his books back up. But if you have an order in with him, you know, definitely let him know. If you want to have a sculpted clip, he certainly has the technical proficiency in which to do so. It will be a much higher charge, especially depending on the material. That was not a cheap clip right there. But he will do it for you, no problem at all. But this is the standard clip as you would receive on any typical knife from him. Now, even though it's not particularly pretty, it is very effective. Great retention on his pocket clips. It's easy to grab onto. You've got a nice lip here to kind of snag your finger on. Because it's upswept so much, it does drop into your jeans pocket very easily. So function-wise, it works great. I just don't think it's visually up to par with the rest of the amazing work on this knife. So that's not even really a minus on my scale because he does offer the sculpted clips, so it's a wash. It's up to you how you order it, or if you buy one secondary marketer from a dealer and you get it like this, you can always contact him and say, hey, Jesse, I've got this knife. I love it. Would you please do this? And if he's got time to fit you in, you just pay whatever that nominal fee is, and he'll do that for you. Now, included in all of your purchases, you'll get a couple of things. One is this warning card, and it's the real deal, man. They are extremely sharp, so please do be careful. Then you've got your warranty. They are guaranteed for life as long as you're not modifying them or doing something stupid like prying, chopping, batoning, throwing, or, and I love this part, general tomfoolery. Tomfoolery will not be accepted around here. And you're also going to get a certificate of authenticity. We'll list everything you need to know. Your model number, the type of steel being used for your blade, your handle materials, your liner materials, and the date it was born on. Each one will be individually numbered, so that's kind of a nice thing to have, I suppose. But I love this. How classy is that? He has his own wax seal. I was always amazed at that. It's just a classy little touch you don't typically see. You receive that with every single knife. So there it is, guys. Kind of a quick look at this. I think it's one of the most standout knives that he's completed, and he's certainly done some amazing work. I know I have one more order in with him. I've had my order in since, I want to say it was May or June of 2013, and hopefully soon my next one will be completed. I was very fortunate to get the one that I got from another collector. Got a nice deal on it. I'm very, very happy with that. And it's one that, even though it's so huge, I carry it a lot. This is a knife I think that more people not only can carry more easily than the Model 100, but it's going to be legal pretty much everywhere. You know, when you get into the Model 100, you get that big 4-inch blade. And I know here in the state of Florida, for those of you that do not have a concealed carry permit, your limitation is 4 inches. If you hit 4 inches and above, you have to have a concealed carry license in which to carry it. So a lot of people like to stay under 4 inches. This is going to be a great utilitarian knife. It's going to be easy to carry, small, lightweight. The bolster material, M3, is lightweight. It actually absorbs your sweat, too. It's not like Damascus, where you're always having to upkeep Damascus. You know, you got to spray a little Windex on it to get the colors to pop again once you've handled it enough, because the oils from your hands kind of change the coloration and dull it. This not only won't do that, but also absorbs sweat, so you don't really have to worry about too much of anything. It's not going to corrode like you know, any kind of stainless steel or anything like that. So it's a wonderful, tough, durable material. that I think is a wonderful complement to both the Damascus and the polished carbon fiber. So we'll give you one last HD look before we move on out of here. And to Charles, again, thank you so much for supporting my Live Knives show. And I really hope that you are as enamored with this knife as I am. And if for some reason you're not, I may just buy it back from you myself. That's how much I like this bad little boy. So there we go. And for now, I'm going to sign off out of here. I got a few more videos to do, some new acquisitions. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me give you a real-world size comparison with a couple of smaller knives. I meant to do this earlier. A lot of people own the ZT-0801, so you'll see it is even smaller than that. And the closest comparison I have in my own collection, size-wise, would be my Southern Tarsus. They're almost identical in size. So I apologize. I usually do that so much earlier in the video. I don't know. I guess I'm just a little bit distracted. So, and again, thank you to Ironwood Fanatic for making this incredible Damascus clip for my 801. I'm never going to recoup the money I have in this thing. There's just no way possible. Good thing I'm not trying to sell it. All right, guys, and with that, I will go ahead and sign off, and I'll see you on the next video.